Hi, I'm Robin Beam. I'm Director of Education with Ranger Industries, and I'm going to show you some neat things to do with our brand new pigment ink in our Adirondack line. And I'm going to show you what's called the Bandana technique, also with our new Essentials opaque white pen. What I've got here also is Tim's new mini little grunge board pieces, and there's smaller letters, there's smaller elements, and they're all smaller versions of the larger pieces of grunge board that he carries right now. And he also has some other elements that are different squares and circles and other shapes that you can use to build some fun different elements. And I'm a big jewelry person, so that's what I want to do all of this with. Now what I'm going to do first is I have this little skull guy, and I want to add some color to all of this. Now what we have is our pigment ink line, and as you can see, if people are familiar with our Adirondack line, we have what's called lights, brights, and earth tones. And we have those right now in what's called our dye line, and those are in a tan case, so you can see how there's matching tones, lights, brights, and earth tones. But now we have the pigment ink pads, and those are in a black case. So what I'm going to do, what's neat about the pigment inks is that they're opaque, so that you can totally cover areas. Now what I'm going to do is just direct to the surface of the grunge board. Now I'm working with little pieces, so I'm going to get a little inky, but that's okay. I'm going to apply the ink right to the surface. So you can see you get a solid red image. And I can let that air dry on its own, or I can just use a heat tool. What I have here, this is a heat tool that one of our other designers, she all designed it and put a whole bunch of different fun, she made it her own, I should say. She put a bunch of Tim's alcohol ink on it. So see, now it's dry. So it dries very quickly, but seeing how nice and rich the color is. And then I can come in and I can take any other colors. I think I'm going to stick with some of the bright colors. This is the Purple Twilight, so let's make some purple wings. We'll do something different along those lines. But see how easily you're able to cover and coat the surface. And I always say it's like kind of a nice velvety finish that you get with it. And again, I'm going to take the heat tool because I'm impatient, and I want to cover that up. I just want to heat that up so then I can cover it with some other inks and the new white pen that we have. Now what I'm going to also do, see how I can just put that together like that. Now I also have, in addition to the black, in addition to the coordinating colors, we also have a black and a white. And I needed to find a white because I don't know where that went. See, we just have a whole bag of stuff. And let's see. Oh no. We'll make him a different color skull, right? We'll just go crazy with it. What I'm going to do is we'll make him, I'll pick a color. Should we do yellow? We'll make him a yellow skull. Just let that go on there. So even every little piece we've got some different fun colors with this. And what's great about this is I can just take some water on the nonstick craft sheet and just take a towel. I always use these towels, and see how it wipes right off, because the nonstick craft sheet is nonstick and non-porous. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our archival ink. Archival ink is a dye-based ink, but it's waterproof. And so if you're doing a lot of watercolor, or if you're doing a lot of other types of things, you want to use, when you're dealing with water, you want to use the archival, because when it dries, it's going to be waterproof, so it's not going to blur your image. So I'm just going to take, I have some fun little polka dots and things. These are some new stamps from Hero Arts, and I'm just going to ink it up. And it really doesn't matter what I do. But, oh, that one turned out good. See, it's like kind of a starburst. And then let's do, we'll do this little flower design. Or no, I'll do the bird. See, I never can make up my mind. I have this little bird. I'll put him on the heart. So what I'm going to do now is this dries very easily. Again, I can let it air dry on its own, but I want to just speed it up. Now what I'm going to work with is our new Essentials opaque white pen. And our Essentials line we always refer to as like it's a tool. So they can be things that you need in your everyday workings, like the nonstick craft sheet, the craft scraper, the mini mister, anything that you use all the time. And so this pen, I'm so pleased we got this pen in, because it's something I plan to use and continue using all the time. Now, what a bandana is, you see a bandana is usually, you wear, it's a piece of cloth, and then it's got screen printing on it with black and white. And this is what this whole idea is. So think of this surface being your background for your bandana, and then you have your black print on here, and now you're adding some of the white. And you don't have to worry if you don't think you're a doodler, because you can just do your own thing. You can just use the lines that are in the stamp, or you can just add dots and lines to the design of the image that's already there. So see the whole idea, like you have here, of a bandana, and here's some other examples that I had done. This is a grunge board flower that I die cut, and see I stamped the flowers, and then I'm just adding some little different designs. So you can just kind of make it your own. So if you like, I like to do a lot of dots and zigzags and dashes, and so it just adds a really pop to it. And so now what I'm going to do is I'll just do a quick outline on the bird. I can give him a little eye if I want, and add some other dots. It doesn't matter what you do, because it's just a design element. Let's see how nice and bright that pen is. And again, using my trusty heat tool, I can speed the drying of it, because it is a pigment ink, it is a thicker ink. And so if I were to put my hand on it now, I would have the image copy onto my finger, and I don't want that to do that. No, right now we just have it in the white. All right. So now what I can do is I can glue this together. One of the things that I can use is Glossy Accents. Glossy Accents is our dimensional adhesive, which also makes a great adhesive, a dimensional adhesive, as well as an adhesive underneath. And again, try to go into my, here we go. Here's the Glossy Accents, go into the drawer. And now if I wanted to, I could actually go over, maybe I'll do that with this one. I can take the Glossy Accents, and what I do is I'm going to put this on, and when it dries, it's going to be crystal clear. And it'll make it almost look like it's an epoxy. So you see what I'm doing? I'm outlining it, and then I'm just filling in the center. And you'll see right now it's milky, but what happens is that it'll go to clear, and it'll stay raised. So if I want to take it and use it as an adhesive, what I'm going to do is just dot some on the back, and then what I do is I use my finger to flatten it out, so that when I put it over the wings, it's not going to squish out from the sides. And so what I'm going to do also is just build this up and create a background. So I'll put that heart there, and then I'll take some, let's do some green. We're going to make this just a crazy background. And see what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly go over it, and that background had a pattern of a stripe on it. So I can then attach this, and then let's see, there's someone named Martine here that has an M, and I think I heard she likes grunge board a lot. And so what I can do is personalize it with one of the letters as well, and I can again hit it with the heat tool. I don't know what I would do without my heat tool. And I don't have to do the bandana on this. I can just take this letter and I can just add some dots to it and add some lines and even do some polka dots. And what I've created is a fun little pin that I can put a pin back on, and then you have some grunge jewelry. So that's just a very easy, quick way, grunge jewelry. It's just a real quick and easy way to show how to use the new pigment ink that we have from Ranger in the Adirondack line, as well as the Essentials opaque white pen. Sure, that's what I'm working on.